Hello everyone, and welcome to the review of the Hohem iSteady Pro 4 gimbal. And while I'm going to unbox this, you are going to probably think, why do I need a gimbal for the GoPro? Because the GoPro has awesome stabilization, right? Well, there are several things that could benefit from a gimbal. For instance, when you use stabilization on the GoPro, you actually lose quality even in daytime, because that's how stabilization works in the GoPro. It's a cropped down image. I have talked about this process in another gimbal review. I'm going to add here a link for that one so you can check it out. So the bigger the stabilization is, the less you get from the image sensor. So with a 20 megapixel, 23 megapixels image sensor, you actually use far less than the sensor size, because you film in 4 or 5K, you lose almost 4 times the resolution of the sensor. So if you have a big sensor, you are just using this size. And when you use stabilization, you get a cropped down image that's been able to be cropped from the image sensor. So that's further reduces the details, dynamic range, and image sensitivity. So you get an image that usually looks good, but when you film with no stabilization in full resolution with a gimbal, you get far more details into sequences. Well, that's the main advantage, because when you are filming in low light, you are going to actually see that the stabilization will not be able to work. You are going to have some image shake, and everything goes far worse from there. So in low light, it's a must have. And there are a lot of other things, such as the cinematics view that you can get with a gimbal, and other effects that you actually cannot get with all kinds of gimbals, but you can get them with this model. So let's take a look into the gimbal, what you get in the box, its specification, features, and then I'm going to show you how those work with your GoPro. So in the box you are going to get a quick startup setup guide that also gives you a QR code for the app, because this gimbal also has an app, which is very important. And you also get a full manual written in a lot of languages with pictures, instructions, even shows you how to use this app, how to calibrate the gimbal if that's needed. So very comprehensive on that point of view. The gimbal itself, pretty nice design. This is also splash proof, so it can take a bit of water or raindrops. That's a very good thing to have, because usually when you get a gimbal, it's considered a weak point in filming with your GoPro, because you cannot make it wet, it will not resist to shocks. Well, this one, it's pretty rugged, pretty well made, pretty solid. It has large motors and also a bit of water resistance. Also, you can quickly put the camera in and out. That's a really nice thing, because some other gimbals need screws, brackets, so it's kind of nuisance when you want to replace the camera battery, which is not needed in this case, because you are going to see why. When you want to take the camera out, change the micro SD card or something, like you need an Allen or hex key just to tighten it out or remove screws. Well, not in this case. You can quickly swap the camera out. Maybe you have different cameras. This works with not only GoPro, but it's compatible with a lot of other action cameras. In the box, you're also going to get a small tripod. That's very handy, because you can leave this powered on a table or something, and it will stay that way. And this is very useful in conjunction with the app, because you are going to get some nice features, again not available on other gimbals. Then you also get the charging cable, which is a USB Type-C, and you get these 3 cables here. And this gimbal, as I was telling you, you don't need to replace the camera battery, because this has a charging function for your GoPro, and you can do it several ways. You can do it kind of offline mode. You can use this host USB here. This outputs 5 volts and something like 2 amps. And you can put a cable here and charge your battery, charge your camera. But you don't want to have a hanging wire from the handle to the moving part here, because it will interfere with the good working of the stabilization. You get a hidden port here, that you have a rubber cap, that one, And here you can use one of the 3 provided cables in this pack, and you get several types because there are several type of USB in action cameras. So you get the mini USB for older action cameras and GoPro 4. You get also a USB type C, this one, so you can use it with the Hero 8, 9, 10, and also you get a micro USB that's also available on some other action cameras. So you are just going to plug this cable into the port here and then plug it into the GoPro charging port, and you are done with the charging. And you can also test this and you will see that the GoPro will also work without any battery inside. It will work only with gimbal power. There are several ways you can install the GoPro. You can install it in a normal position, you can install it upside down. Some may find that installing it upside down works better if you want to power the camera from the USB port. You can actually fit it in a normal position, not upside down, as the power cable will just clear out the motor here. As you can see, the wire goes along here and goes into the charging port. So it sits in normal position, and that has another benefit. You have access to the power button. It's not blocked, so you can change camera settings very easy. And let's see if it starts. So I'm going to power on the gimbal. Gimbal starts, and I want to power on the GoPro with no battery inside, so this should power on. And here you go, camera starts, and you can see there no battery inside because the battery is on the table and I'm not using the door. So it fits, it works, and it works without battery, so you can power the camera directly from the gimbal. You can also keep the battery inside and you get better runtime. The gimbal will just keep it charged up. And now let's go into some details regarding the functioning mode of the gimbal. It has several working modes and several adjustments. The gimbal also has a built-in remote, so you no longer need the remote to control the GoPro. So you have here the shutter button. You can change the GoPro working modes, the profiles. Also, you can adjust the working modes of the gimbal from this, so you don't need the smart tab to control the gimbal. You can do it from here. The smart tab has other features. Also, the process of binding the remote to the GoPro is very easy. You just double press this button when the gimbal is on, and you select in the GoPro menu that you are connecting to the Quick app, and they are going to connect right away. Also, when you turn on the gimbal, it's going to turn on automatically also the GoPro like the remote does, and you can see that here. So they are both working right now. So now let's go through the working modes. So I have the PF, which is pan follow, which means that if I'm going to pan the gimbal will follow the panning. It will stabilize the camera to be level on the other axis, but will allow me to pan it from left to right. It will not allow me to tilt it up or down or to roll it to the sides. Then the next mode is PTF, which is pan and tilt. So now I can tilt the camera downward and it will follow that, upward. Also I can pan it left, pan it right, but it will stabilize the roll axis. On the other one, it's the next one, it's L from locked. Come on, camera, focus. So that's left, locked, sorry. So now, regardless of how I move the handle, it will lock all the axes. So it's stabilized also in panning. So even if I rotate this, the panning is fixed. So nothing moves the camera, it's steady that way. And last but not least, the very interesting POV mode. This one will no longer stabilize any kind of axis, including the roll axis, and now the camera will be able to rotate. Of course, it provides stabilization, so if I move this very fast, it will keep the camera level, but it will follow the roll, it will follow the tilt, it will follow the panning. and this gives you access to the inception mode. I'm going to put the camera in a horizontal position by using the joystick, and now I can do something like this. I can fully rotate the gimbal. The camera is still stabilized. If I shake the handle, the camera is still stabilized, but this is stabilized dynamic on all axes while I rotate the camera, and this allows you to do very creative shots called inception shots, where you can rotate everything while you film or just travel along. You can get some really awesome shots with doing this. Because the gimbal provides a lot of possible movement, it has something like 600-degree rotation around its axis, and you can fully tilt this including backwards, so it rotates freely around, and you can see that. Sometimes the camera might be pointing in some weird direction, and you don't want to use the joystick to fully rotate it back into normal position, where for that you can use this trigger here. Just double press it and it will reset the camera to the default centered position for that working mode, and here you can start fresh again, rotate it in the direction that you want. Also, this trigger helps you in some modes such as the pan follow. Maybe the panning is too slow. For instance, let me put the camera straight so you can observe better. So I'm keeping the camera like that, and I want to pan it, and I want to pan it faster, but it's not responding very fast. It's kind of slow, and maybe I want to follow a racing car or something. I can press and hold the trigger, and now the panning is a lot more responsive. It does have a bit of stabilization, but it has less stabilization, and it follows very fast what I need to pan for. Another novelty is the roll adjustment button here. It's a switch that you can actually tilt the camera to one of the sides to create more cinematic shots or more creative ones. So the camera will stay tilted to one side, but it's going to continue to have the same level of stabilization like it's a straight camera. As for the camera control, that's very easy. You have this multiple use button. This turns on the gimbal, this turns on the camera, this turns on the shutter, and this one also changes the working mode. So now it's in photo mode. If I double press this quickly, it's going to change the camera into the recording mode, just like that. If I'm going to short press, it's going to record. Short press again is going to stop. Again, double pressing it will switch to photo mode. Quick press, it takes a photo, and so on. If I want to turn off the gimbal, I'm just going to press and hold this button, and the gimbal is now off. Sadly, when you turn off the gimbal does not transmit power off to the GoPro. If I'm going to power on the gimbal back, that's going to turn on also the GoPro for me. So that's pretty fine. And just like that, the GoPro is up and running. And now let's take a quick look at the app, because the app is also very important. It has some really nice features. It will automatically connect to the gimbal. You only need to have Bluetooth and location turned on, and of course the gimbal to be powered. So it's going to detect that. It's going to select the appropriate model. You don't have to do anything. And here's the main menu. You have the control option, and here you have the battery level of the gimbal, and you have the same control that you get here on the joystick. You have here the work modes such as the pan follow, PNT follow, all log, and POV mode. You have options to recenter, which is the trigger button. You have the shutter button, so you can also control your GoPro remotely from the phone, and you can switch camera working modes from here. You can see that. Let me try to make something like that. So you can see I am changing the camera mode from here, and I can trigger the shutter. So you don't have to mess with this remote or the gimbal setting. You can only use the app to control everything, which is really nice. Then you have the motion lapse, which is not found on other gimbals of what I know, on GoPro gimbals, and this is really nice. You can record several coordinates for your gimbal position, and then you can put the GoPro, of course, on time lapse or time warp, and it is going to follow that pattern that you have registered with various coordinates, and it's going to get you really nice videos. Then you have options to calibrate it, of course. That's for having this level. If the gimbal doesn't have any kind of issues, don't calibrate it, because you don't have to do that. You also have advanced settings, and here are a lot of things, so you can adjust plenty of stuff, such as follow speed, joystick speed, follow dead area, joystick reverse. And if that's not enough for you, you even have advanced settings for the motor. You have motor torsion and a lot of things. Also, you have the charging function. You can disable that if you want to save power and you don't want to power on the GoPro from the gimbal battery. You can turn this off, and you can see here that's going to affect the gimbal, and it will automatically stop charging when its battery is at less than 25%. Then on more, you have some information, version, Bluetooth information, so just basic stuff. Now, after you have also seen the samples taken with the gimbal and how well it works and what creative shots you can do with it, there's also going to be a con, which I'm going to tell you. That's the media mode. If you want to use the media mode, well, this is not going to fit, so you cannot use that. If you cannot use that, you cannot fit an audio adapter, or maybe you can use the USB here and use the old GoPro microphone adapter, so that complicates a bit things, but you can use that adapter and you get this screw mount here, so you can add a holder here, you can install your mobile phone as a bigger screen, you can fix here a microphone or light, so it kind of enables the functionality of the media mode without actually using the media mode, but you need other hardware. For instance, that ugly looking big microphone adapter that GoPro sells. So if you have any kind of questions about this gimbal, let me know in the comment below, and I'm going to try to answer you as best and as fast as possible. Until my next video, see you and bye bye.